Hey everyone, it's Elena from Nervosa and you're watching CMS TV.
Got to tell you, some of our fans are goddamn funny. I don't get to really watch the comments that are being made in the chat.
Right.
Apparently, our fans enjoyed the Carol K segment.
Okay.
Because I was reading, I scrolled back a little bit to see some of the comments from that segment.
Sure.
And the fact that she didn't want to be recognized for her contributions.
Mm-hmm.
The wretch in there with, hey, call bass cunt for this track. Bass cunt.
Bass cunt.
Yeah. Apparently the drummer hit it and quit it. Let's see here. Let me introduce you to senility. They should have wrecked those chompers. She looks like she could eat an apple through a chain link fence.
Yeah, she did have some big old teeth.
Teeth
with an F.
Teeth. Yeah, they wrecked my teeth. It's so funny. Next, she will say she was sexually assaulted over a drum set 40 years ago. Just funny, man.
That is hilarious. It's pretty good.
Just good stuff. You guys are funny. I wish I had an opportunity to read some of your shit during the show, but just paying attention to doing my job over here.
That's right.
Yeah. So anyway, just thought I'd give a little credit where credit is due to the fans and their silliness as well.
Yeah, and those that are listening on demand, they have no idea what you're talking about because they didn't hear that segment.
Exactly. So, perfect.
So subscribe.
Exactly. All right. Well, we got basically an hour and 20 minutes.
All right. Perfect.
To wrap things up. We got stuff going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, and I don't know if you have something already in mind. But I'm gonna forward something over to you that I want to just get your thoughts on because we're sort of a nostalgia show in some regards. Well, I think most of us, and I know for sure, you are a fan of Elizabeth Montgomery.
Bewitched.
The young, yes.
Yeah.
The young Elizabeth Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, her claim to fame mostly is from Bewitched.
Sure.
Well, if you watch Bewitched in its first run or in reruns or whatever, if you're familiar with the show, you're probably familiar that on Bewitched they had a baby, which was Tabatha Stevens.
Yes, right. Mm-hmm.
Well, the girl who was a twin, much like Full House, did you know Tabatha Stevens was a twin?
No, but that makes sense. Just from the fact that they do that a lot because of the child work laws.
Sure. Just like Full House, the Olsen twins would switch out during the show.
Sure.
And you didn't know that you were seeing two different kids.
Right.
Well, Tabatha Stevens did the same thing.
Sure.
They did the same thing with this Tabatha Stevens. Well, she was a twin as well.
Okay.
Well, the dominant one, who actually became the one, he turned 61.
Jesus Christ.
Well, she, and again, that was during the time this show was on when I was a kid. And so she was a baby when I was a baby, more or less.
Sure.
Well, now she's 61 and she's all grown up. So scroll up there. Tell me your thoughts on a 61.
Oh, wow. It's Lita Ford.
Exactly.
Only not as Road worn.
Exactly. So there you are. There's Tabatha Stevens at 61 years old.
Oh, she looks pretty good. 61.
Yeah, not bad, huh?
If we believe that, she might have taken that picture 15 years ago.
I don't know. That's her birthday picture, supposedly.
That don't mean nothing.
Her 61st. Again, that's
supposed. If she looked like shit when she put it up there, sure, Carol Kay's thrilled that her picture was up.
But her real name is what's
Erin
her
Murphy.
Name? Yeah. So
yeah, I remember. Remember they did the reboot, or not reboot, but the sequel show or whatever they call those spin-off.
Yeah, the spin-off.
It's Tabatha or something.
Right, where she kind of like played herself as a grown-up.
Yeah, it wasn't real good. It lasted 1 year?
It did. It lasted one season. It wasn't a good show.
Yeah, she looks pretty good there though. Holy
not
shit!
Bad for a 61-year-old broad.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of kept it together for the most part, and it's kind of strange. She sort of looks like
Elizabeth Montgomery.
She does in some regards. She kind of looks like her a little bit.
She does, yeah. Dyes her hair, yes.
Yeah.
She could be all gray if she didn't dye her hair.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the very top of her hair, it's a little bit gray going on up there.
Look, I ain't going to smash on that. I mean, I'd smash that, but I'm not going to smash on that.
Well, that's kind of what I was looking for. I was looking for your thoughts on.
Yeah.
So would you hit that?
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking right, I would.
Yeah, look at younger Chris going after an older woman.
Look, first of all, she could have another 200 pounds on her, and I'd probably bang it because I'm so fucking horny. I'm a horny fat mess, of course.
But in reality,
ask me if I'd bang it. I'd bang this fucking Lily Direct girl here. At this point, I'd bang the diabetes right out of her fucking fat face.
Right. But she's but this Tabatha Stevens is Erin Murphy. What did I miss?
Killer Miller, line of the night.
Agnes Moret.
That is fucking funny.
And Dora.
Oh my God, is that funny?
With her blue eyeshadow and all that shit.
Just terrible. Hated Darren.
Darwood. Get it right,
Darwood.
Chris. It was Darwood.
Darwood, yeah. Had a bunch of weirdos on that show. Dr. Bombay.
Yeah.
Paul Lind was on there too. He was some kind of weirdo too, right?
He was Uncle Arthur.
Uncle Arthur, yeah. Bunch of weirdos on that show. But yeah, when they would put Elizabeth Montgomery as her sister, with the black hair, Serena, yeah.
See, look how much I know about that show,
dude. I love that show. I've watched that show a million times.
Dr. Bombay, come right away.
Yeah. The thing that was always funny too on that show was, it's like, and I don't know why shows don't do it. It's never failed when they just switch characters. Do you ever see the episode where they brought in the new Darren? The first episode, they just announced it at the beginning of the show.
Dick York, Dick Sargent.
Yeah, I don't remember which one. I think Dick York was number 2, right? Or was it Dick Sargent?
Dick Sargent was number 2.
But at the beginning of that episode, they just say, the actor playing Darren Stevens is now being played by Dick Sargent. Right. They just literally just said it. And no one does that. And that would be, you know how many shows would be saved if they just did that instead of, like as an example, I'll just use a modern example of something that me and you both watched. Yellowstone.
Yeah, Yellowstone.
They could have easily just said, the part of John Dutton is now being played by whoever, by some other guy, Brad Pitt. And could have just rolled right on. No one would have cared after like 5 minutes.
Right.
No one would have cared.
Well, like they switched out the kid who played drums on the Partridge Family.
Sure.
They switched out the Chris.
Didn't they switch out a Brady kid too, or for the movie or something, or? Well,
maybe for the movie.
Or no, for the show, for the variety show. Jan wouldn't do the variety show, so they put in a new Jan.
Yeah, the Eve Plum.
Yeah, so they just threw in a new Jan. All right, here's the new Jan. They did that on Roseanne, too. When Lacey Goranson left as Becky. They said, hey, here's Sarah Chalke. She's Becky now. Boom.
Yeah, she's your Becky. Just accept it.
Didn't even matter that she was 1.5 feet taller than the other character. It was like, oh, whatever. Who cares? That was the weird one, because if you look at the two, I mean, Lacey Goranson's like 5'2", and Sarah Chalke is like 6 foot. It's ridiculous how different they look, but they just didn't care. They're like, come on in. Right. Who cares? And no one did care. I don't remember anybody going, oh, the show's done.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I agree with the Wretch, too. I don't know if you're a Roseanne fan or not, but it was weird that they did keep swapping the Beckys. They did. Because, like, I'm talking a little out my ass, so especially those of you that are watching on demand that have Google and are going to tell me I'm a stupid I understand. But what I think Lacey Goranson was going to school or something. Like she was going to college to get her master's or some shit. Okay. And so they let her go to school, but then she wanted to come back. So they let her come back because it was all keep it all in the family type of a deal.
Right.
But they just kept swapping them back and forth. Whenever Lacey couldn't show up, then they had the other Becky. And they did. There's it's not like season to season even. It's like in this episode, there are some episodes where they have, like, they'll have both Beckys, and they'll both look at each other and go, "Do I know you from somewhere?" You know, it's a good little joke, and I love it. I thought it was funny as shit,
right?
Because it just reminded you that it's entertainment and not as serious as everybody takes it to be.
Right.